It started over a card game on the team plane and ended with two teammates drawing guns on each other in the locker room. The story you heard in the news was about gambling debts, but the real story, the one that got buried, was about trash talk, ego, and a reckless bluff that almost turned deadly. On the surface, the NBA is a league of superhuman athletes and global icons. But behind the closed doors of the locker room, it's a pressure cooker of testosterone, pride, and conflict. These are the moments the league tried to bury, the stories they don't want you to know. From a star player choking his own coach to an entire team waging war on its city, these are the untold stories of NBA chaos. These are the locker room legends. Guns drawn over a card game.
Former NBA All-Star turned podcaster Gilbert Arenas was allegedly running illegal high-stakes poker games out of his Encino mansion.
December 2009. Inside the Washington Wizards locker room unfolded one of the most dangerous moments in modern sports. The headline was simple. Gilbert Arenas and Javaris Crittenton had a gambling dispute that spiraled out of control. But the real story was pettier. It began on a team playing card game of Bourré. JaVale McGee was winning, Crittenton was losing, and Arenas, ever the trash talker, poured fuel on the fire. Things escalated when Arenas joked, "I'll burn your car with you in it." Crittenton snapped back, "I'll just shoot you then." Arenas couldn't let it go. Claiming it was a messed-up joke to test Crittenton's bluff, he entered the locker room 2 days later, placed 4 unloaded guns in front of Crittenton's locker, and told him to pick one. He expected laughs and got terror instead. Crittenton calmly pulled out his loaded firearm and aimed it at Arenas. Teammates scattered. Nobody got hurt, but both careers were instantly derailed. NBA Commissioner David Stern suspended them for the season. Arenas pleaded guilty to felony gun possession and, though he returned to the league, was never the same star again. Crittenton never played another NBA game. By 2011, his life had spiraled into tragedy. He was involved in a gang-related shooting and is now serving a 23-year prison sentence for manslaughter.
Former NBA star Gilbert Arenas has been arrested and is now facing federal charges for allegedly running an illegal gambling ring out of his San Fernando Valley home.
All of it started not with huge debts, but with 2 reckless jokes, bruised pride, and egos that didn't know when to quit. The choke heard round the world. Player-coach clashes rarely turn violent, but on December 1st, 1997, the Golden State Warriors witnessed one of the ugliest scenes in NBA history. Star guard Latrell Sprewell, a 4-time All-Star with a fierce temper, had been butting heads all season with his demanding, sharp-tongued coach, PJ Carlesimo. During a routine practice, Carlesimo barked at Sprewell to put a little mustard on his passes. Sprewell warned him to back off. Carlesimo kept coming. That's when Sprewell snapped. He lunged across the floor, wrapped his hands around his coach's throat, and violently choked him as players and staff sprinted over to pull him off, with some claiming he threatened to kill Carlesimo. Thrown out of practice immediately, Sprewell shockingly returned 20 minutes later, now showered and changed, and threw a punch at his coach before being restrained again. The consequences were swift and historic. The Warriors voided Sprewell's $23.7 million contract, while the NBA suspended him for a full year, later reduced to 68 games. Public outrage exploded. Yet, in a defiant 60 Minutes interview, Sprewell insisted, "I wasn't choking PJ that hard. He could breathe." It was a stunning lack of remorse that cemented him as one of basketball's greatest villains and turned a simple coaching critique into one of the most infamous incidents professional sports has ever seen. Welcome to the Jail Blazers. In the early 2000s, no team was more talented, or more chaotic, than the Portland Trail Blazers. Stocked with stars like Rasheed Wallace, Damon Stoudemire, Zach Randolph, and Ruben Patterson, they were built to dethrone the Shaq-Kobe Lakers. Instead, they imploded so spectacularly that fans and media branded them the Jail Blazers. That infamous nickname wasn't hype, it was a headline generator. Wallace racked up a record 41 techs and was suspended for threatening a ref. Stoudemire was caught trying to smuggle weed through an airport in aluminum foil. Patterson, a registered sex offender, faced domestic abuse charges. Quintel Woods got busted for dogfighting. Randolph punched Patterson in practice, breaking his eye socket. Bonzi Wells clashed with refs. Darius Miles openly disrespected the coach. GM Bob Whitsit's infamous line, "I never studied chemistry in college," explained everything. Incredible talent and zero accountability. Rasheed Wallace put it best when describing their relationship with fans. "They can boo us every day, but they're still going to ask for our autographs." The Jailblazers weren't just a team. They were a warning of what happens when a locker room melts down from the inside. The Prank King and his reign of terror. Not all locker room legends are born from violence and crime. Some are born from a brand of humor so extreme it borders on psychological warfare. And in the NBA, there has never been a more dominant force of nature, both on the court and in the locker room, than Shaquille O'Neal. Shaq's pranks were the stuff of legend, a bizarre mix of juvenile humor and pure intimidation. He was known for tackling teammates while completely naked, a display of dominance that was both terrifying and, for some, hilarious. But his masterpiece of locker room torment happened during his time with the Phoenix Suns, with an unsuspecting Lou Amundsen as his target. According to former teammate Jason Richardson, Shaq's campaign against Amundsen started small. Amundsen rode his bike to practice, and every single day, Shaq would hide it, forcing Amundsen on a 45-minute scavenger hunt just to get home. Eventually, Amundsen had enough and decided to retaliate by filling Shaq's van with packing popcorn. This was a fatal mistake. Richardson and others warned him, "This is Shaq you're dealing with, bro. You might want to chill." The warning went unheeded. Shaq's response was surgical, disgusting, and unforgettable. As Richardson tells it, Shaq walked naked into the locker room and, well, let's just say he tampered with Amundsen's gear. He then allegedly took Amundsen's toothbrush into a bathroom stall. The team was stunned into silence. Later, during a game, Amundsen checked in and popped the tainted mouthpiece into his mouth, causing the entire Suns bench to erupt in laughter. When they finally told him what happened, Amundsen was in disbelief, but teammate Matt Barnes gave him some sage advice. "Anything in your locker has probably been in Shaq's ass. Throw it all away." It was the ultimate power play from the NBA's ultimate prankster, blurring the line between a joke and a biohazard. The Secret Tunnel Showdown. Our final story proves that even in today's hyper-publicized NBA, old-school beef can find new and bizarre ways to break out. In January 2018, a heated game between the Houston Rockets and the Los Angeles Clippers wasn't going to end with the final buzzer. The game itself was chippy, full of trash talk and hard fouls. The real drama, however, centered on Chris Paul, the Rockets' new star, who had just left the Clippers after 6 seasons and was making an emotional return to his old arena. After the game, a Clippers victory, Paul was not ready to let things go, but he wasn't going to confront his old team through the front door. He knew a secret. The Staples Center had a back corridor that connected the visitor and home locker rooms, a route known to staff and, apparently, a vengeful Chris Paul. Paul led a crew of his Rockets teammates, including James Harden, Trevor Ariza, and Gerald Green, through this secret passage, dead set on confronting the Clippers in their sanctuary. According to some reports, they even sent center Clint Capella to the front door of the Clippers' locker room as a decoy. What they found was chaos. DeAndre Jordan, then a Clipper, described seeing a Rockets player suddenly appear in their locker room looking for a fight. Security and team staff swarmed the area, intervening just in time to stop an all-out brawl between 2 of the league's top teams. Police were reportedly called to de-escalate the situation. The incident was so strange, so bold, it felt like something out of a movie. It was a stark reminder that even in an era of player friendships, the raw emotion of a rivalry can boil over in the most unexpected ways. From guns pulled over a card game to a coach choked by his own star player. From a team of outlaws to a king-sized prankster. The stories of the NBA locker room are a raw, unfiltered look at what happens when immense pressure, massive egos, and the burning desire to win collide. The league may present a polished product on the court, but the legends of the locker room tell a different story. A story of chaos, conflict, and humanity. They remind us that behind every jersey is a complex person, capable of both greatness and unbelievable folly. If you know of any other locker room legends we missed, let us know in the comments below. And if you're chasing more history-shaking highlights, subscribe to Posterized Playback, where the legends live forever.